Let's make sure all these things are working. No scroats, don't leave the house. Stay here. Have fun. Anyways, it's time to have some fun, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Griftcast, my friends. Although this is going to be a little bit different because we're doing an interview, right? We've been trying to invite people onto the show and have more of a good time with a lot of different people. And today we got one of our first interviews actually up here, and I think I'm gonna be pretty excited for it. We got Chrissie Mayr on the show. That's right, Chrissie Mayr is going to be on the show today. She's actually already on here. We wanted to make sure that we got her in. I know she never uses the same software that I have, but I'm gonna go ahead and bring her in now and pull up the chat so that we can all, just start having a little hangout right here. And if you don't know, she's a comedian.
Hello. I'm so happy to be popping your interview cherry. I had no idea it was going to be me.
Yeah, well, you're one of the first ones that we've done. We've been trying to get more people on so that we can show folks that, hey, there's obviously a lot of other people out there. We've met a lot of folks over the last couple of months. Figured might as well use it, right?
Yeah, true. We're building a little community here.
Yeah, community. Although I feel like I'm an outlier in the comedy community because that seems to be where you come from. Comedy plus comics. Those are the two things that I think I've seen you in a lot online, actually, because I used to watch that a lot of shows.
Feel like an outcast from the comedy community, and then all the outcasts just find each other.
And then you feel like an outcast? I feel like you're a comedian, though, like a real life comedian.
Thank you. That's good to hear. I think you just I remember like where I came from and my initial kind of cancellation, but it's better. It's like looking back, I did the groups that I were canceled from, and me and Carrie Smith were talking about this. We both kind of had a great unfriending, and I had like multiple waves of it. I think when I came onto Compound Media was one where people were like, "Whoa, she's really far right. We better disassociate." That was one wave. Even though I had the same sense of humor, I just went from booking a show at the Stonewall Inn to doing a weekly show at Compound Media. So it was that, and then it was being an out Trump voter, and then it was January 6th. There was like multiple times there were people reaching out to my Facebook friends, "Hey, just letting you know, like your friends with Chrissie Mayr, she was at the Capitol on the 6th. You should probably unfriend her." Like, so I think it's good to go through that. Not like to complain like, "Oh, I'm so canceled," because it's like nobody's forcing me to do this. I think it's hard to pursue your dreams. It's hard not to. So in life, you kind of just choose your heart, and canceling can have a bright side. It shows you like who your real friends are and who your real fans are.
No, I actually think I understand that. I definitely saw that you had been canceled at least a few times. I see like a couple of different things consistently. I wouldn't say it's it's probably a little consistent over the last couple of weeks that stuff has come up, and that's exactly what people have been talking about. Is like them trying to cancel you, and I mean, at this point, I would have to say that you're pretty uncancelable. I mean, they can try, right?
That's amazing. That's the goal. They have definitely tried. Like even last year, I was doing a show at a cigar place in Buffalo, New York, and
oh, sorry, that's a super chat. That's actually a super chat.
I was like, is Christ coming? Is this how it ends? Like, imagine we go up to heaven during the Griftcast IRL, or maybe I go and you stay, or vice versa.
Well, I mean,
Dramatic.
you could go. I'll stay because like I need to stay. But yeah, no. When we get super chats, I have a little like sound that goes up, so it actually reminds me to like say something. Because here on this show, we just make sure that we watch them number one, or we actually read them first. So we'll break everything that we're saying. Hopefully today they're gonna have a lot to do with you, right? But at the same time, like if you want me to like slow down so I'm not interrupting you on that one, we'll definitely at least like take that down. So, because I know sometimes people in the chat are a little bit weird about that stuff. But this one's from Scroats McGoats. It's a $10 USD, and it says, the funniest thing you ever did was cause Rage Pig to melt down. I laughed so hard I cracked my back. And I
Wow,
think that he's talking about Ethel and Ralph right there for
so
people
good
that
to
don't know.
hear. Because at the time I was like really upset. I was like, we've always been cool, me and Ethan. I'm like, I feel like he's really going out of his way to kind of like friend break up with me. I'm like, this is the dumbest misunderstanding slash fight slash whatever I've been involved in. I was like, kept explaining myself. He was determined to misunderstand me and rage quit. So whatever floats his boat.
Yeah, I feel like you're kind of one of the funniest people that I've seen on the internet, because not only are you prolific in like how you're online, like, it seems that you and I guess Frank is your manager slash boyfriend slash gonna be your husband, correct? If I'm
Yeah,
mistaken.
fiance.
Fiance, that's right, that's what you're
Ooh.
supposed to call that type of person. Yeah, which was really interesting to me. But like I was just kind of from a guy on the outside looking in at your operation, and I was just kind of like, wow, you've had like so many different characters on your stream. And then even some of the characters, like from when I met you, at least during this Eliza Blue situation, that got really out of hand and then went nowhere all of a sudden.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, I guess we'll be prepared for the next person who's lying about being a sex trafficking advocate. Like, what else does it do other than prepare us for next time? But it does seem very anticlimactic for Eliza to be the focus of conversation for a good 6 weeks, more maybe. I mean, more for people like you who've been sniffing on her trail for a while now. But it was burning so hot, and then there fucking nothing happened. There was no accountability. Really nothing bad happened to her. Like, really, she quit the Minds event, but that was it. Other than, probably getting hassled online here and there, but like, what did she lose, really?
No, I don't think she really lost anything other than a couple thousand followers, and then now she's not terminally online again. And I mean, really, was it about losing anything? Is the question. Like, where did you really
True.
think that was going to go?
True. I think as someone who is a personal friend of Brittany Venti, I did kind of want to see Venti at least get her account back. She is debating just deleting the tweet just to get her
Delete the
account
fucking
just
tweet.
to get working again. And I think it would be stupid for her not to. At this point, she's made the point. Everybody knows her staying off Twitter is not going to do anything to Eliza Blue. Like, the people who were watching her and aware of her and maybe thinking of booking her for future events know, and hopefully that changes their mind. Right. It's like you said, it's not so much about what's going to happen to her. It's like she's not going to get as many opportunities. She's not going to be as much on the fire trajectory that she was on to be like Miss Thing. She's not going to be Elon Musk's next baby mom. So maybe we just stopped that, if anything.
Yeah, I feel like that's maybe what we did. I think a lot of people really had no understanding of like how she was interacting with folks back in the day. And honestly, like in 2008, everything that happened was very similar to then. It's just really hard to like look back because MySpace and all those other websites basically don't exist anymore. But to me, I feel like, we did a really good service. Maybe people don't understand. I think people tried to make it a little too much about me there at the end or whatever, which is fine or whatever. It's just I didn't really want to handle a birthday month like that. Honestly, you can't
Oh,
do a birthday month like that.
when was
And
your birthday? Was it
the 21st
February?
of this month.
Oh, it was March. Okay. Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Yeah, March baby. But I
You're in
like,
Aries,
yeah,
Pisces, cusp.
cusp. That's right. Wow, you were pretty good with that stuff, I guess. Most
A
people
little
don't pull that
too
last little
good.
bit out of the back. Where did you get that from?
Well, because I know that early March is Aries, and I know that late March is Pisces. So I
Yeah,
put it together.
I'm apparently on some sort of cusp or whatever that means.
You
I
feel
don't
more
know.
Aries or more Pisces?
Oh, I'm probably definitely more Aries
Okay.
with the side of ADD.
Okay. We all have
And
that. I see Aaron in the chat saying, as soon as Brittany deletes that tweet, Eliza will sue her. Do you think that's a
no
possibility? That would
way. No
suck.
way. There would never be any way that she would be doing that. I don't know where that narrative came from, but literally nobody's ever been sued for deleting a tweet. And I don't think Brittany Venti is going to be the first one. I mean, that's just my opinion on the
Okay.
matter, but like I've always been in the camp where I'm like, yo, just delete the tweet. Like if she had other things that had happened to her in the past, she had already been on sanctions for something else, then I would maybe
Yeah.
recommend against it. But she didn't even give a 7-day for that. Right?
Brittany didn't get a 7-day.
Like lockout for that. I don't even think she got 12 hours. I think it was
No,
like
I
just
think
like
they just
delete the tweet.
they locked her.
Mhm.
Donation.
Oh, somebody just
I
bought
like the
something.
sound effects.
Wow, that's a donation right there. Somebody just donated through our direct Streamlabs donation system. If they go to Griftcast IRL .com,
I like that.
they could actually just make direct donations to us using PayPal. So, they can use super chats. It'll pop up with stuff. Same thing with if they do direct payments and things. So like they can do it so that it's private, public, the whole entire shebang. But that was just a $10 donation. There was no message on that. So just thanks for the money. We appreciate you. Yeah. So it's like we have music. It's just alert. So it's something that you could set up too. Although it'd probably be maybe a little more annoying for you in some ways because you get a lot more. You would have just
I
like
don't mind a
alerts.
little musical interlude though.
Well, you guys could set them up. It's like one thing. That was like one of the main things that I wanted to reach out to you about in the first place is because I've been a streamer for a really long time, but I've been following your career ever since I think I saw you over on the Nerdrotic podcast, right? Like I saw you on there that I'm like, hey, who is this girl that is the funny? All right, got it. And then, started looking up stuff and I was like, wow, this is like a comedian that is super able to handle all of their different social media presences because I looked at a lot of the different stuff that you yourself had online. Let me just restructure this here real
I'm not
quick.
on TikTok though.
You should be though. That's the thing. Is
No,
like you should be.
I don't want the Chinese to have my
just get
sperm.
a burner phone. Why would the Chinese have your sperm?
I don't. No, I'm just kidding around. Like I just don't like TikTok. I will occasionally bring one up for a show or something to make a point, but I just think it's a horrible app. I just think it's not good for people. And I know it's great for promoting yourself, but I don't know. I just can't bring myself to do it.
No, I feel you on that. Like I have a TikTok. I actually have a few TikToks to be honest, but that's just because like I keep forgetting what I logged in, and since I can't be myself, right? Like the main Defango, because I lost the number associated with that TikTok account. I just kind of refused to use it, but I started pulling up your social medias because I wanted to ask you, like, okay, so online, this is your Instagram, right? Like, how do you feel about Instagram?
If you refresh it, I just updated some of my dates in my bio.
Oh, cool. 1 second.
Because I just noticed my shit was out of date.
Oh, there you go. You might as well
Yeah,
go ahead and promote those.
I'll be in Staten Island on April 7th. It's the Reef at Paradise Island. It sounds very tropical, but it's not. It's Staten Island. And then I'll be in Morris Plains, New Jersey. That's called Tiff's Ale House on April 8th. And then I'm going to Vegas for the F&T Geeks and Gamers meetup on the 26th of April. That's going to be at the Millennium Fandom Bar. And then my show in Vegas is the following day at the Space on April 27th. And then I'm going straight to Dallas, doing some stuff at the Blaze. And then I'll be at Hyenas in Dallas on May 5th and 6th. And Lila Hart will be opening for me in Vegas and in Dallas.
Ooh, you want to back that up? You said doing some stuff for the Blaze?
Just some appearances, nothing crazy.
Oh, and then my co-host, Sir Gene, decided to grace us with his beardly presence today. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, how are you all doing?
Oh, perfect.
Thanks there, Gene. It's great to see somebody else with the beard, with a beard like
Somebody
that.
else?
Yeah, someone else is rocking it.
Mm-hmm.
I aspire to have a beard like Gene, but as soon as it gets not even close to being that long, it bothers me.
Because it's kind of a Jack Murphy beard. I don't know if you were picking up on what I was putting down.
Yeah, don't even go there.
Okay.
No, it's the opposite
Oh.
of a Jack Murphy beard because my beard is colored the way they are in nature. Jack's was
Oh.
hand colored.
You think it was hand colored?
Oh, 100%.
He did
He
not.
painted that shit in.
He totally painted that shit in.
That shit's
No,
painted in.
I don't want to bore you with that topic, but I've gone through it a number of times.
I love
explaining to
talking
people.
about beards.
About beards, really? Well,
You
I've
like
got a-
talking about
I've
Jack
got a
Murphy
long
too?
beard.
It's pretty cool. That's pretty cool looking. I would say yours is more impressive.
Well, thank you.
It's actually very impressive. It's like I can't even show you
Actually,
how far it goes down.
I trimmed about 6 inches off of it the other day.
Ooh.
What did you like? What are you like trying to do? Some sort of magic spell or something?
Yeah, it takes a lot of hair to do the hard magic spells.
He needs it for a voodoo doll.
Mm-hmm.
See, yeah, the little known fact: if you make a voodoo doll, you need to make it out of your own hair.
Is
That's
that
right.
true? I thought you had to make it out of the person.
No, you just add one of their hairs to your voodoo doll of all your hair.
Damn.
But you're well versed in this for a guy without a beard.
Well, I knew a voodoo man one time. I think we did a lot of drugs together. Dang, somebody just bought something else again? What's going on?
What would you call what he has then, Gene? Is that not a beard? Would you call that a scruffle?
A goatee?
Scrapple? A
Goatee?
Well, he's kind of he's got a goatee with an unshaven rest of his face.
Yeah, goatee.
I mean, that's fair,
then-
right?
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I'm trying to figure out where the patches are.
All right.
And this isn't growing really great today. So, I'm still waiting for this to come in. Because I'm trying to figure out, like what's going to be the right line. I've been testing angles to see what hides my double chin. So,
there you go. Well, you could do like
when you take photos to
a long goatee.
That helps.
yeah, that's what I usually do is like stick my
forward
neck out.
Like a little. That's always good.
Well, sometimes I do that. Like you can kind of see it a little bit when I do that, but just, this isn't about me.
Yes, it is. It's
A
your
little
show.
bit. Well, it is my show, but like you're the guest that's on the show. Now we have Sir Gene on the show. So Sir Gene, you've been the one that you interview people a lot. What's one question that you'd like to ask Miss Chrissie Mayr over here?
Oh, let's see. What would be a good one? Well, when I interview people, I usually like to start pretty early on. So I don't want to talk about what they're currently doing or what they did last year. So I would probably ask her more about what was she like in high school.
Ooh.
That's a great question.
I was neither cool nor a nerd. Like I was neither cool nor uncool. I felt like I had a foot in several different groups. Like I wasn't like I guess I only really can compare it to my brother and sister, right? Because they're my only concept of like what was cool or not cool. Like my sister didn't even go to her prom, so I would deem that to be like not cool. I don't know. Who even cares? Who cares what's cool with it's probably cooler not to go to your fucking prom. But at the time, that was my, frame of mind. Like if you heard my high school story, you'd be like, no, it sounded like you were cool, but I don't think I was. Like I was a cheerleader, but I wasn't like it didn't come with all the cheerleading stuff that you see in movies. Like it wasn't like, here's your guaranteed boyfriend. Like I ended up hooking up with like literally whoever was left. I think we all went to Hempstead Lake State Park to drink one night, and I ended up with the fullback or something, and he was like the least attractive guy on the team. So I just was like, okay, I guess I'll drink a 40 and get fingered in the woods. But I mostly got into cheerleading via gymnastics. So they would just be like, oh, we don't know what cheer to do, Chrissy, just go do some flips. So I was just like the I don't know.
So you're a tumbler.
I was a tumbler. Yeah, I did red and blue, which dates back to before they had female sports. So you have like red and blue, which are the school colors, and you sign up for red and blue. They divide you up in two teams. It's like Color Wars or Spirit Week or whatever, except it lasts for months and it tears families apart, friends apart. It gets very competitive. You have a theme. You have choreographed dances. You have like costumes to sew, songs to learn. And the girls that are captains of red and blue, those are the cool girls. I think I was tumbling coordinator only because like not that very many girls do gymnastics.
They're not
That was
easy.
fun. I felt like I was cool adjacent, but I was definitely not going to their parties. I feel like they tolerated me, but I connected more with like really random people. Like I loved art. Studio art was my favorite class. I loved my teacher, Mr. Gamache. Like he was truly an amazing teacher because he would look at your work and be like, "Wow, this painting you did reminds me of a Botero. Like you should really look into his work." And he could just draw up different artists so quickly, just out of thin air, and be like, "Oh, this work reminds me of this," and that's how you would. I don't know. It was a really cool way to learn about art, and it was whatever. I did the IB International Baccalaureate thing, which is similar to AP classes, but you can go for a whole diploma at the end. So I feel like lucky that I was able to sneak in and do it. Like my heart, you have to choose like certain classes are harder, certain classes are less hard. So my harder classes were like, in my opinion, the easier ones like art, Spanish, English, and then the sciences. I'll be like, oh, can I just do like environmental science? Can I just do like that's like the fun science to me. Like I'd rather learn about swamps than fucking like do AP Chem or bio or whatever. So I felt like I don't know. I just kind of like scooted by in high school. Like not a good student, like B plus. Especially like compared to my brother and sister who were like A students, Eagle Scout, honor roll all the time. But I felt like my commitment to gymnastics and then diving really helped me kind of stay on the right track. Like I wasn't doing drugs, getting pregnant. I was hanging out with some of the wrong kids, but I felt like having to be in the pool like 2-3 hours a day for 10 years, like kept me kind of focused and with less free time to get into the kind of shenanigans that a lot of high school kids get into.
That makes sense.
Pool, so you were a swimmer?
I was a diver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
And I
not a
did it
lot
all
of swimming in the pool?
I
Just
only
a lot of
literally
diving in.
swam literally from the bottom of the pool out. I was a lifeguard too, so they time you in like the 200 meters like every couple weeks. So you could swim okay, but you're not like doing swimming races.
Oh wow, we just keep getting them donations come in. Wow, that was another one from CV. She just said, was she a tomboy when she was in high
Yes,
school? That's a question.
hardcore.
Tomboy?
And thank God I wasn't a tomboy.
So-
like I'm not growing up now because like
Right, you'd be
I
a
could have
dude
been
right now.
trans.
Yeah, you
like,
might be a dude. You wouldn't have titties right now,
I
probably.
could have totally been a dude because my growing in boob experience was awkward as hell. Like I never wanted a bra. The idea of buying a training bra was like humiliating to me. The idea of having to do that with my mom when there was literally nothing to put in a bra for years. Like literally did not even have an idea of boobs till college. Like I was like a B until my 20s. I don't know. Like it took a long time. So I just yeah. I thought all that
Late bloomer.
I was
So-
it's hella late.
Walk us through what you used to dress like when you were in high school.
I would oh god. I think there was a brand of shirts that I would wear called like Alien Nation, like the ringer tees. I would do ringer tees, like white shirt with like a navy or a black like ring around the collar and sleeves with like a little alien on it. I had an Armani Exchange shirt that I really loved that had a little diver on it. But like these are just t-shirts. Like it's just about the right t-shirt. If I could scrape enough money together, I would buy something from like Abercrombie and Fitch. I wore like cargo pants. I would have like flared like khaki colored cargo pants, like flared jeans for sure. Platform like Steve Madden sandals or like sneakers. I dressed pretty basic, but I thought I was like badass because I wore like an ice blue colored like chain around my neck. Like I wouldn't like buy a lot of things from Hot Topic, but I would like walk by and be like, ooh, okay. I you know what I mean? Probably if you were to interview high school Chrissie, I would tell you that I wanted to dress in a way that people thought I might have been a surfer. Like puka shells, I would go to the beach a lot. I took surfing lessons, but I definitely wanted people to think that maybe I had gone surfing more than I actually did. Yeah.
Glasses?
Have you ever been surfing?
Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah. Did it in Hawaii on a diving training trip. That's where I probably did most of it. It's something I would love to keep up with and do more, but like you need somebody to do it with, and you need to take trips specifically for that purpose.
Or live on the beach.
Yeah.
Where there's waves.
And you're not gonna do surf on Long Island. Are you kidding me? You have to like go somewhere legit. So yeah, puka shell necklaces. I was a lifeguard too, so like really spent many years just in a Speedo between diving and lifeguarding. Didn't even have a two-piece bathing suit till like my late 20s or something. Yeah, mega tomboy.
We got ourselves another super chat. So it looks like a question from you, from the legendary Scroats McGoats himself.
Bro, is it these Scroats or is this an imposter?
No, this is the Scroats. He sent us email confirmation and proof.
Wow. Okay.
And he says he can't join the stream, so he'll just ask here us because I regenerated the link. I gotta send that back to him. I'll ask here, what do you think about your Twitter account dedicated to your books? Do you think deadpan humor is lost on most people these days?
I'm so glad, because what people don't talk about really are how many books I have. And what most people just are familiar with my boobs account, but they're not familiar with my Twitter books account.
Does that surprise you?
That surprised me because I have no idea what that is.
Totally fucking with you. I think it was a spelling error. He meant to say boobs.
Oh.
I have a Twitter account called Chrissie Mayr's Boobs.
Yeah.
I don't think that
Chrissie Mayr's books. It's literally 2 books.
Well, it's 2 books, 2 boobs. You know, maybe he couldn't have super chatted boobs.
Oh, it could be a banned word. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then he should have written 8008. Like we did on the calculator.
Well, yeah, that definitely makes a whole lot of sense, like we did in the calculator back in the day. So I guess it's funny. You said that you were a cheerleader. You know, that gives us something in common. I was a cheerleader too back in the day in high school, if you could believe it.
They had men cheerleaders?
Yeah, we had guy cheerleaders. It was like, you know, you talk about your high school idea being like not like the movies, but at least in my cheerleading days, things were like the movies a little bit. You know, we went to the national competitions, and there was like, we had a guy-girl team.
Went to nationals. Wow.
So like, it was pretty interesting. Just, you know, it's always interesting to hear.
Thing I would ever guess that you did in high school. We were in the beginning stages of trying to get competitive. Like we went to a couple of things. I remember because there was this girl that came in who was like in the younger grade than me, and she really wanted to take our cheerleading squad to like the next level. And she was blonde, and she was like the classic look of what you would think, you know, a cheerleader trying to take the team to the next level would look like. She was kind of insufferable. So it was mostly black girls and me, and then this blonde girl who really wanted to take us to the next level. We learned a lot of step, a lot of like step dancing. Yeah, the whole thing. I was like, what am I doing? I appropriated so early on, like before.
You did appropriate.
Yeah.
Where'd you grow up?
Rockville Center in Long Island.
Oh, Long Island. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe it's not like you're appropriating anything. You were just immersing yourself in the culture that was around
coming
you.
up with the fucking cheers. Yeah. I was like, I'm just here to do flips. And I remember I quit cross country to join cheerleading, and the cross country coach was so mad. He was like, you're never, ever allowed to join cross country again. I can't believe you're leaving for cheerleading. And I was like, it's not that serious, dude. I'm like, I fucking suck at running. I'm like, I don't know if you've been watching me, but I'm like DFL every race. So what are we really losing here?
Yeah. Oh, that sucks.
I think it's not fun.
So you don't like running like me?
No. I would do literally anything but run. Like I would literally anything. Like name a thing. I would rather do that than run. I would literally rather do a gangbang than run. Well, depends how many people are in the gang and what color they are. But there's a lot of things I would do.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only thing to say. Okay.
Okay.
I mean, it's cardio, right? Okay.
That's cardio, I guess. I mean, I feel like you would probably need to eat a lot of sandwiches if you were doing that all the time, though.
I'm just trying to
I
say
don't know.
running really sucks. And then it'd be so funny because I have a sister who's a little bit older, and we'd always running is the thing you grow up always thinking you have to do to lose weight. And then we would just convince each other, like, oh, I just read this article that running is actually like makes your boobs sag. So we'd be like, that's it, we're done, no more running. Like literally the only possible excuse we could find would be like, all right, we're off running. Bad for your boobs. We're out.
Oh my god,
That sounds legit.
Yeah.
That seems real. Okay, so when you were so since we're in high school, Chrissie Mayr right now, no pun intended, where were you seeing yourself going back in the day? Like, what was your goal when you were like 18? Like, what was your future like for you, and how has it differed?
I knew I wanted to dive in college. That sucked up a lot of my time. Like, where was I going to go to school? How good of a program did they have? Was I going to go somewhere that would give me a scholarship? Like, was I going to go real serious with it and try to do like an Indiana University or like a Brown, like a good program? Or was I going to be like big fish in a little pond? And that's ultimately what I went with. Because I was like, I think I just didn't want to be that serious with it because it has to be like your whole life. So, and I also didn't think I would like I was all right. I was like 8th in the state or something in high school. I don't know if I was that good that I was like Olympic level. Like my arch nemesis tried out for Olympics and like she bombed. So I was like, okay, I probably wasn't even that close to it. So you always wonder like if you made the right choice. But I loved it. And I made the best decision I did at the time, which was like, all right, I can have kind of a college experience and also do diving. So I went to Fairfield in Connecticut. But looking back, like I wonder how good I could have gotten if I went to like a school with a better program.
Okay. What would you get your degree in when you were in college? Like, what was your main focus besides diving?
Communication with a media studies focus, and I had a women's studies minor.
Women's studies, so a little bit of feminism.
Girl, I was the biggest feminist. I was the biggest, most brainwashed twat around.
Really?
Yes.
Tell me more about this.
Just because all my friends were. It was a liberal arts college, Connecticut. I was in the Students for Social Justice Club. But at the same time, I was like wanting to start a comedy club too. It's just like it's all who's around you, and this is like the.
Did you have a shirt with Che Guevara on it?
No, not that far. I just was like, oh, I'm a good person. I went to a protest, just kind of like blindly following my friends and like, yeah, college was definitely like liberal and progressive but nothing like it is today. It's just like, it's just part of that natural liberalism that goes along with like higher ed and like the college atmosphere. It wasn't like, you have some teachers that are insufferable. Like your art history teacher is like, not even a fucking real person, doesn't live in the real world. It's just like, oh, if you don't read the New York Times, you're garbage, like, and then you're like, oh, is that what I have to do to be a good person? Just read the New York Times every day? Okay. These are these are the first adults that are in your life that are doing better than your parents. So you go, okay, they're the authority. They're better. They know more than my parents. So I guess I got to go with what they think.
So you feel like you were brainwashed a little bit when you entered into these liberal colleges?
Yeah. The default is kind of like to be a Democrat or a liberal is to be a good person. Like I remember coming home from college break and just fighting with my dad about like, why aren't we doing anything to help the homeless? And my dad's like, I'm a fucking landscaper. Like I lucked into a Teamster job. I'm barely putting the 3 of you through college. Like, why are you fighting? So I definitely had that phase for years, but you're just not living in the real world yet. You don't fucking know anything. You have no life experience.
So you really, I guess, would you say that you changed your personality a lot between high school and college? Because
no, really no, because it went from, well, actually, I think I was more myself in high school than I was in college. And then after college, late 20s into 30s, started to really find myself. But like you're in high school, you're also like not even a person yet. I think high school years was so that really taught me commitment and like to not quit, because all the sports training just teaches you patience and practice and like, yeah, maybe a part of me was a bit of a perfectionist. Like, I still think about, like, if I still wish I had graduated college with a slightly harder list of dives. Like, I still was like, I remember graduating college, like beating myself up, like, I should have a full 2.5 list. This is not good enough. But I was like, it's the fucking MAC conference. Like, calm down. I mean, it's Division 1, but it's the MAC conference. Like, there was no need for that. And but yeah, just sort of like always pushing myself to do the most. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, did my personality change? Yeah, yes and no. I think like college was ultimately good because it opens up your mind intellectually. Like you start to think about what you're interested in. Like and even now that I'm more like red pilled and more libertarian minded than say like a straight up Democrat or something or wherever I fall politically. The whole time I've always had an interest in gender roles, gender studies, psychology. I mean, that's why I studied like women's studies to begin with. It's like I still have that interest. I still like learning what makes people tick. Like, and that includes why do people have certain sexual fetishes? Why do people decide to go trans? Like why like even when I was going to therapy for a few years, I would start to like ask my therapist questions because I was trying to figure why she was the way she was. So that's always been an interest, but like the older and wiser you get, like you maintain your interests, but like you just expand a little bit.
It's interesting. It's always been interesting to me why it seems like women take women's studies. Why don't women take men's studies? Wouldn't that be better?
History? Oh,
Well, wouldn't you want to learn more about people you don't
feminist
understand?
joke in the feminist communities. Oh, you have man studies. It's called history.
Uh-huh. Well, yeah, but I mean, in general, it seems like women's studies is more of a clique than an actual educational thing.
They are really trying
And
to
I
like
took women's studies, by the way, so for me, that I
all
I
it
do what
is
I say.
all it is like you have an English class that's women's like that counts for women's studies. It's just like you're focusing on female authors or it's like you take a I don't know what was one of my classes was ecofeminism and
Mhm.
that's kind of one of the worst because you're taught like all the problems with the environment are because of men and the patriarchy and like the pillaging of resources. I remember there was a semester where I took ecofeminism and sports broadcasting in the same semester. So in one class, it's all women, one dude, and then in my sports broadcasting class, I was the only chick among all guys. So it was kind of interesting.
So did you
Probably
need a lot of
But
Maya
you only need
Angelou?
4 classes for a minor, so it's not that big a deal, really. Yeah.
Would you say that you were able to utilize that minor in any sort of fashion nowadays?
No, it's just funny. It's a fun fact I bring up so that people can like see sort of how far I've come. I don't know, politically, mentally.
I always thought you were like in the alt right.
No,
No, not even close.
I've only recently become part of the alt right.
And that was all because you got canceled because you didn't want to get vaccinated to do a comedy show, correct?
I think people had started to consider me part of the alt right once I got on Compound Media, and only because Anthony Cumia is right wing, and so people are dumb, and they think that anyone associated him must also be completely right wing. So, yeah,
and that's Anthony Cumia from the Opie and Anthony show, correct?
yeah.
They seem like a pretty big like comedy podcast. Like I've heard that name over the years, and I was introduced to them through, I guess, Mersh when I was like looking at stuff into him. Although I guess Mersh wasn't really associated with the show. He used to drive some guy that may or may not have been what they call retarded. I don't know if we're allowed to say that anymore.
I've been saying retarded more, and in fact, I have a retarded great uncle. So, and actually before he died, he said, feel free to use the R word, as much as you see fit. I'm giving you the R card. I mean, he didn't say it like that. He said it like, ugh! But I could understand what he was saying. I could understand him. I could feel him. I could feel his intent. Yeah.
Did he give you
on my mother's side?
Okay, good.
So you gotta watch out for that.
So you can use the hard R then. That's good.
I can.
That's good.
I have the R card. All the hard R's. Oh yeah, that was a funny clip where that person thought hard R was the word retarded. That's great. That's so funny.
Oh, that's what they thought. They didn't think it was the
there's
other
this
thing.
viral clip of these two dudes, and this one guy's going off, "Oh, I can't believe this person. I did this show, and they just were saying hard R," and like he thought that it was hard R equals retarded and not the N word.
Well,
Mm.
hold up. Why is hard R the N word? That's a different letter.
Because when you say, "Oh, did he say the N
How
word?"
you say it?
A hard R or with an A at the end?
You know, it's the
How does the AI
or
say it?
You know what I'm saying? Or
with an type.
Huh. Okay.
Nobody ever says hard R when it comes to the word retarded. That's
only
retarded.
when it's the difference between bigger and biggest.
Well, I think everybody says hard R except for people from the East Coast when they say retarded. Because they East
say
Coast retarded.
That's a Boston thing.
It goes a little further south than Boston, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I was in Florida and I heard some fools talking about
I heard it, in
saying
Jersey.
that. Yeah, I heard it in Jersey. I went to Alabama one time for a layover. I heard it out there, and it was a really weird accent too. I was like, dude, I need to get out of here, man. I'm scared.
Yeah.
Alabama?
Yeah, I was scared. Everybody was white. Everybody was massive. I was teeny tiny man. You know, I'm like looking over the counter like, hey, sir, can I get my hotel room, please? Thank you. And then the guy's just like, like,
and they were like,
down
you're
like,
Ziggy?
They're like, oh, you're so cute.
The nose, like, going over the fence or something. Wow, I literally have not even thought of Ziggy in like 20 years. Remember Ziggy?
Yeah, I remember him.
Like, who just be like,
hey, guys, what's going on?
Man? Yeah.
I think he honestly did that because he didn't want to draw the mouth.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense, actually. So let's see. We've gotten at least a good amount of backstory from you. So, like I haven't really heard anything about comedy at all. So I guess, like what happens after college? Is that where this starts to come in?
One play in high school. That was like the first inkling of maybe a performing bug. I was a prostitute or courtesan, and a funny thing happened on the way to the forum. I was gymnasia, literally only cast because I could do gymnastics. Our theater director, Larry Waxman, he smoked a lot, either had smoked a lot of weed or always just had like very lazy eyes that made him look very even pervier. But the casting process was just like a bunch of us girls on stage, and he went, you, and you. Thank you for coming. That was it. That was the casting process. So I don't even know I don't even remember if I had lines, but I remember my costume was this blue pleather like wrap. Like I gotta find a picture. My whole body was like arms and legs wrapped up in this, and it was like kind of scantily clad. Now that I'm thinking about it, and I'm like flipping around the stage, and in one of the rehearsals, I think it was a dress rehearsal for it. This, high school stages, they're like curved like that, and there was the band, there was like the orchestra playing, and my mom worked for the director of music and performing arts. So she was like all down with the concerts and the band, all that stuff. A very musical household. And so the band is there, like the full ass band, like the drums, the trumpet, all the horn section, everything, woodwinds, all of the things. And I'm literally like doing a gymnastics pass, and I literally fucking flip into the band. Like I could have died. I just got so lucky. Like I remember I was like going back, and I grabbed under the very edge of the stage, and then I saw my feet like going over my head. I landed into the timpani. Like I landed into the drum set, which thank God I didn't land like in a fucking tuba or something more painful like a xylophone. I just landed on the drums, and
you bounced right off.
I think I lived. I had to be on crutches for a couple of days because just by the grace of God. Like, imagine if I had just gone head first into fucking instruments and people. Thank God it was just like my feet, like it was feet first landing in there. So that was neat. And then my mom was like, what? And then her boss was the conductor, and he was like, he didn't even know I flipped into the band. He was like, where are the drums? He's like, and the drums are supposed to come in at this point. And I'm literally like,
You're on the drum. You
like
are
a
the drum.
fucking cartoon, like rah, like all the.
I'm hitting her, but it's not
I
working.
landed on Rob Del Gaudio, and we're still Facebook friends to this day. I think we bonded over that. Anyway,
Drama bonding.
Anyway, I didn't even think about comedy until college. When I had an internship at Conan, and then I was like, because I thought I wanted to be a reporter, so I interned at Dateline first, Dateline NBC, and then while I was at Dateline, I was like, this is fucking horrible. I don't want to be a reporter. I reached out to the only female writer at Conan at the time, Allison Silverman, and I was able to get myself an internship for the following school year at Conan, which those internships are so hard to come by. Usually they go to the daughters and sons of the executives that work there. Like normal people usually can't get them because they're just so competitive. I think I got lucky because it was during the school semester, and most of the internships fly like over the summer because that's when, everybody's off and everybody can work there. So that's when I realized, like, okay, comedy, this is more my vibe. These are my people. And the writers at Conan were like, well, if you're into this, like, just get into improv. And I was doing a little bit of improv at college at the time, but they wouldn't fully, like, I didn't feel like I think I did a semester of it. And they're like, no, you're not a theater major. Like, you really can't do this. So I felt like I was kind of booted out because I wasn't in the right major. They were very cliquish. And so then I just started doing UCB after I graduated, did 5 years of improv, did UCB, did Magnet, did a one-woman show, and then I started stand-up.
What's UCB?
Upright Citizens Brigade. So that's like Amy Poehler, Matt Walsh. They briefly had like a TV show at one time, but that is one of the main theaters that talent is scouted for, like for SNL. So it's like UCB, Groundlings, the other one in Chicago. I can't remember.
Second City,
yeah. So I thought I wanted to be in SNL. I was like, yeah, that's because what do people do they were either getting scooped for SNL or they were getting into like commercial acting. So I took a couple like commercial acting classes. There was a year period, like every fucking commercial I saw, it was somebody I knew from improv. I'd be like, oh my God, I know that guy. I know that girl.
That's, you know what? I've had that same feeling actually.
Yeah.
We have a super chat for you. It looks like $10. We really appreciate you finding Perry a date. You have done a great service here. Hashtag 1992. Hashtag Steelathon. Super chat from Mac Hard, the most powerful lesbian on YouTube.
Wow. A date?
Mm-hmm.
Like a physical date?
Did you find? I think she's talking about Perry Cavello.
He did Simpcast a couple weeks ago.
Apparently, he got a date from that.
No, like a human female date.
Mm-hmm. Apparently, he got a lady that was a little interested in the Paralinus. You know what I mean?
Wow, that's amazing that I had anything to do with that. Good for him.
Good job.
What's
Perry
hashtag 1992?
I don't know. I don't know what the last two portions of that was. Matt Hart says some weird things sometimes or whatever. We got to bring her on eventually too. She apparently got fired for knowing me or something like that. We got to talk about that later. Yeah, I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know. People, you got to watch out around.
You considered part of the alt-right, DeFango?
Oh, but I'm considered I feel like I'm considered in some circles as worse than a Nazi. Like I am Hitler. Like there's Hitler, and then here's me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, and I don't get it because I thought I was like a pretty normal fat man or whatever, but apparently not. I don't know.
A Nazi, like a Bill Gates. What's even the insult for that?
I don't even know what the insult is. I mean, somebody can't call me Bill Gates. I'm not nobody's ever saying that I'm rich.
Yeah, true. It seems like nowadays all the truly horrible people are all the most successful, like Epstein, the Clintons.
Well, I think that's always been the case.
Yeah.
Why couldn't I get into politics? See, like I tried to get into politics. Have you ever tried to get into that before, like your entire time as being a comedian? Like, did you ever do nothing?
Hell no. I helped Larry Sharp a little bit. I mean, I still will occasionally host like panels for him. And he's the only politician I've ever really felt like I connected with and was a good person and worthy and deserving of actual power. Because he's like a real ass dude. Yeah. I think he kind of helped sort of was it gold pilling, yellow pilling when you turn libertarian? Like, it was conversations with him that made me realize, like, oh, wow, I'm not a Democrat. Wow, okay. Yeah.
So you'd probably consider yourself to be more of a libertarian than anything.
I think so, but if I were to take a test, you fall in different places on different issues. Definitely more socially liberal. Like classic 90s liberal, I feel like still, right? What we all were before the Overton window moved. I'm probably more, but you know what? As I get older, maybe I am getting more conservative, like on things like immigration and like what I spend my own money on. Just regular growing up stuff. But go ahead, be gay, be trans. Just don't make people's kids trans. Regular opinions,
Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. So I guess digging into all this stuff, like improv for you is where you started in comedy. And it's really funny that you mentioned that you've seen a lot of your friends like getting into commercials and stuff, because I feel like that's where a lot of people that are also actors are starting, because I've seen that too. Like I had a little stint as an improv guy on a place called the Jive Joint. I think like probably the biggest show that we played was Coachella. Like we were there pretty much like
Whoa.
for
What was that
7 years. That was interesting. I mean, we weren't like in the main show, right? Like we actually had our own thing, and it was in like where the people stay overnight. So we were in the campgrounds basically. So like we were the only thing going on besides the silent disco at night. So like a lot of people would just end up showing up. But that was more or less, I would have to say, it was more just watching the people that were really, messed up and making sure that they're okay than it was, like being worried about the comedy and stuff. At least for me, like when I started that whole thing.
Cool.
It just
How many
kind of
people
ended
were
up.
in your troop?
Jesus. There's probably like 20 different people that would show up from time to time. And the way that they had it set up is that, like I would show up early, help Paul build everything, and then he would like, kind of like teach him, and the guys would try to teach me different things. And the only reason I was even there is because I was making grilled cheese.
Okay.
So like I would make grilled cheese, but I would do it apparently in a very funny manner that made people really laugh or whatever. So like I would improv while I was making the grilled cheese, and then I just kind of embedded myself into their troupe, like created a character and then just kind of went with it, and then had a bunch of different things. And we did that for many, many years until I think they switched us out over at the Jive Joint for another group of our friends that did like puppets, because they were trying to get.
Oh.
You got canceled by puppets?
Yeah, we got canceled by the puppets. But it's the funniest thing is they're the puppets that we brought into the,
Really?
system.
Wow. That's like what we're going through now with AI. The fucking machines are taking over and the puppets canceled you.
Mm-hmm. We got canceled by puppets, although, I don't think that they had anything to do with AI over there. Still good people, though. Good people.
Fucking puppets.
That's crazy. Yeah, the fucking puppets, though. That's why I don't have them anymore. I don't even like playing with those little dog puppets anymore with Lunchy.
So, Chrissy, I got to tell you, I thought for probably the first few months when I first saw you on the internet that you were Natasha Lyonne's sister.
Okay, I'll take it.
And
She's
I was
cute
like,
and
God, they even
talented.
talk alike. Why haven't I seen this one doing anything?
You're like,
Meaning
why
you.
isn't Natasha helping her sister out? Like, why
Yeah.
is she just letting her fail?
Well, I don't know about fail, but it was kind of like, oh, this is interesting. And
That's
then
funny.
I think you mentioned something about Long Island. I was like, oh yeah, they've got to be sisters, right?
Wow.
And then finally I realized, oh wait, you're not related.
No.
So why is that?
Why am I not related to
Yeah.
Natasha Lyonne? I ask myself this every day. I just think we had different parents.
Really? So that was the problem.
Yeah, I think that's where it starts.
Mm-hmm.
But
Have you ever met her?
no.
No?
I'd like to bump into her though.
Yeah.
One day. I feel like I'm in an orbit where I will eventually.
Yeah. You think
I
at some
think I'm
point she'll be on
yeah.
podcasts and you can invite her on?
Maybe. Why do you have a crush on her or something?
Oh, I've always liked her. I've liked her since she was like a child actress.
She's got a cool vibe to her. She seems
Yeah.
like she'd be cool to hang out with.
I think so. Like I was working in New York in the early 90s. So I'm a little older than all y'all. So I have a very
Have you
different
ever gone to
perspective on New York.
CBGB's? That's my biggest New York regret, never going there.
No, never did. Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope. But it's I kind of I get that vibe from her of old New York.
Yeah. The raspy voice. She's like a tough cookie. Yeah.
There's
Smokes
a
lots
few
of cigarettes.
probably, but she's always had that voice. I mean, she was like a teenager with that voice.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but no, it was interesting, and I think it kind of it made me want to initially like figure out more of who you were and watch you more, because I was trying to figure out, okay, do they talk about this relationship or what?
Not related. Yeah. What's going on? That's funny.
That is hilarious, actually. So, do you have any brothers or sisters?
I do. Yeah. Oldest brother, middle sister. Very much like youngest.
And is her name Natasha?
Classic youngest child. Do you know that like there's some outrageous number, but comedians are most likely youngest children. And I just felt like, yeah, you observe a lot more. I think you're like a quick study. And but I also felt like I couldn't really express my true feelings growing up. So I think that's what attracted me to comedy. Is like, wow, you're on stage, no stakes. You can just speak your mind. You don't have to worry about tiptoeing around anybody or hurting anybody's feelings. You can just say whatever the fuck you want. So,
and then you can call it an act if somebody starts to get annoyed too much.
Yeah.
I didn't mean us. I meant that was an act
on stage. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's just an act. It's just a character. I was just riffing. Don't worry about it.
But it's cool to be asked about your high school experience, because it's not something you think about too often. And then you have your idea of what your high school experience was, but then as an adult looking back, you're like, all right, well, like I wasn't bullied. Like, I mean, I was in one fight. The girl never showed up, so I didn't actually have to like scrap. But
lucky,
yeah, like didn't get pregnant, didn't get in any major trouble, didn't get arrested. Like all in all, like had a very good high school experience. Like I learned the value of hard work and like being disciplined through sports for sure. So was able to like, I loved art. I loved like painting and drawing. That's kind of like one regret is like that's something I would have loved to have spent more time doing. I think, I don't know, college is there's so many distractions in college, and then like being an athlete, like that's one thing I wish I had more time to do. Cause I was really good. I loved it, but it's such a big time commitment. This is so boring. I wish this was funnier.
No, this is interesting stuff.
Well, things don't always have to be funny, you know. For me, and then I know for Gene, like we like to find out about people people who were outside of this internet stuff, because my whole shtick has always been that I am the person that you see, right? Like this is just me. This isn't an act. This isn't any of that stuff. But it's really funny to see how
one's buying it.
Nobody's buying it, number one. Like, I hear crazy stuff about me, like I'm a government agent stuff. But then you look at like comedians and folks, and then there's a lot of different folks that like really just, what's the right way of putting this? The way that they like broadcast themselves, like as an act sometimes. Right. And for you, like, watching a copious amounts of the content that you're on, it seems like, you don't really have a character. This is just you. And I think that that's probably why one of the more bigger reasons that you become so successful and at least prolific online. Because I like to watch where people are going, like what's your favorite social medias? That, like these are the kind of things that I really get into. So I guess, like that's where I'll go now. It's like when you started all of this, like what was your first social media account?
Oh man, on Twitter, and I didn't want to give this handle up for like years. My first Twitter handle was Hysterigal, and I thought that was the jackpot. I was like, what do you mean I need to change it to my name so people can find me? It's fucking Hysterigal. I don't know who has it now, but that was my first Twitter account. I was an early adapter on Twitter. I think I joined like March of 2007. Did MySpace, did Facebook, but yeah, when Facebook came out, it was only for college students. So it was like, oh, cool, you're getting to know like everybody else at your school. It wasn't for everybody. Still, Twitter remains my all-time favorite. I think again, like Instagram. To really crush it on Instagram, you have to put so much time. Like I'd have to be thirst trapping 10 times more than I am. You got to really think about like different outfits. You got to buy like a ton of, if you're a girl trying to do OnlyFans, like you got to spend a fortune in lingerie. You have to have different outfits all the time. You have to be like really, really just focused on how you look all the time. And I mean, not that I'm like not focused on how I look, but I think for me to really crush it on Instagram would take time away from writing and interviewing and like the other things that I care about that like, I love to do, but also like lead to income streams.
So which of the things you're currently working on, which do you enjoy doing the least?
Twitter's definitely my favorite. Absolutely. It's like the best for jokes. You don't need to fuck with hashtags anymore. Least favorite? I mean, I'm only really on like Twitter and Instagram. I'm not on like Snapchat or TikTok.
YouTube?
Yeah, I don't really consider YouTube to be a social media. I think I consider it more of a platform. I mean, you have a community post that you can post in on YouTube, but I only really use that to promote stand-up shows. I just think of it as like a channel, not like a here's my thoughts, and then post or whatever. Twitter's definitely my favorite. I mean, I'm definitely exposed
So
to.
are there things you would put on Twitter that you wouldn't put on YouTube?
Yeah, like so many of my jokes, I guess. But like, I mean, what am I going to do? Show my jokes from Twitter on a YouTube video? I guess I could. I think I just assume that
Tim does that all day long.
everybody that follows me looks
does.
at all of my accounts. So like, I don't want to be redundant and show. Am I going to show Instagram pictures on my YouTube channel? Or am I going to show jokes from Twitter on my? I guess it's really truly relevant, but it looks too much like I'm patting myself on the back if I do that.
That's what you think.
Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting, actually, because that's
like
something.
Too self like, hey YouTube people, look at my great tweets. Like if they know where to go, if they want to look at my tweets, I don't know.
Yeah, that's actually an argument, or not really an argument, but that's like research that I did with some folks back in the day about before YouTube had the ability to post stuff like that. Like, would it be viable to have like a social platform where you were just like making short videos? So before YouTube had shorts, like that's kind of like what I used to do. And I've deleted a lot of those videos now or whatever. Well, most of them got deleted because YouTube deleted them, motherfuckers. But I think that the way that people attack the different platforms, like I've always been a source of mind that you should be posting everything on every platform, right? Like that's the only way to. I know everybody hates it, right?
Am I gonna post my workout videos on Twitter? That's not funny. Like that's not what Twitter is for.
Are you sure? There's like a whole workout subsection.
You would probably like
Twitter.
double your number of
probably
subs
double.
if you did that.
Yeah, definitely.
I guess I think I would recut it and try to make a joke somewhere, or I would do specifically like funnier working out with some kind of a funny edge. Like I just don't. I think if I just straight up post my workout videos on Twitter, it looks too much like I'm trying to be. I don't know. I think generally Twitter is for like hot takes, political stuff, and jokes. And Instagram is visuals. Like I'm, not that I wouldn't post a good photo on Twitter, but like it's with a joke or you're promoting something, where Instagram is like it's a bimbo app. It's like that's why I was saying before, like if I were really gonna make my Instagram pop, it's like a whole nother job, because then it becomes all about how you look and like posting the kind of photos that get the highest engagement, which are thirst traps, more semi-nudity, etc. More like
lots more chi-chis.
More pictures of just me. I tend to post a lot of group photos. Like, here's the group after the show. Here's the group after the podcast. Here's promoting this or that. Like, I guess I look at my feed. I'm like, wow, it's me always with other people or friends or like this hang, I think I don't want to be too much like fucking about myself all the time or look too much like a navel gazer, I guess.
Wait, what the heck does that mean?
A navel gazer? It's like when you're like too self-absorbed, I guess. Like,
when you're looking at yourself, like you're looking down and seeing yourself rather than anybody around you.
It means navel gazing or Okay, a huge word. It's the contemplation of one's navel as an aid to meditation. Okay, that's not helpful. Useless or excessive self-contemplation, egocentrism, egoism, narcissism, self-absorption, self-centeredness, self-involvement,
Wow,
self-interest.
that's amazing. That's a word I never heard before.
Yeah.
Or it's like
There we
a
go.
thing I've never heard of before. Wow, I'm gonna use that somewhere.
I just think it's
Umphalasepsis.
boring to have an Instagram feed. Oh, here's just me. Here's me. Here's me all the time. I think it's more. I get more a sense of value from like what I'm doing, what I'm creating, what I'm building, my relationships. Not just like here are my tits. Okay.
But the way you're
What else can I
describing
do?
it sounds like the kind of stuff that would be exactly what people would want to see on Twitter.
Like what?
Well, like
Oh,
if Instagram is more of the semi-nudes, like you said, where Twitter is like, hey, met up with my friends,
true.
here's a photo of all of us.
I guess, but I feel more like what's the point?
Well, I'm just saying
There
it
is
sounds
no
like
point.
you may
Yeah.
be doing a disservice to the
Maybe.
Instagram community.
Or no, the Twitter community. See, that's the thing
Yeah,
that I
maybe.
think I
You're
learned
probably right.
a long time ago. I learned when there was a website called Clout. I'm not sure if you
Oh, yeah, I
you
remember
remember that one. Like I was a guy that had a Clout score that was way higher than what
Then
it should have been.
Same here, dude. Same exact thing.
And
It's like
the
nobody
reasoning-
knew me, but a high Cloud score.
Yeah, nobody knew who I was, but everybody knew that I had a higher Clout score than them
Mhm.
because they were like, why? And I think it was because like I would back in the day it used to be a lot easier to post on all the social media platforms at once. Like you used to be able to have an app that it would just boop and it would just go to all of them. You can still kind of do that nowadays, but it doesn't have the same effect anymore because they consider the way that they like rank the postings. But back in the day that's how it used to be, right? And I felt like myself, I've always looked at like I've tried to use all the social media platforms. Like even right now, I'm streaming on all the platforms. Doesn't matter if nobody's watching on a couple of them, because I feel like link domination is much better, or like having all that content out there on all of the platforms individually is much better than just posting it on one and then cross posting it to another one and so on and so forth. Because to me it was always about like getting as many links out there as possible, because I was always coming from it in like the SEO understanding of things. Because like, do you have a Google alert on your name set up?
Yeah, and I have one for my old show, Comedy at Stonewall, but I still have it, like, so I still get notifications. I think I kept it because, like, in case somebody else was like, I was watching for a while to see if somebody else would do a comedy show at the Stonewall Inn, because I think that was a point of pride for me, like, no pun intended. But like, I had a show there for every month for 6 years, which is like almost unheard of. That's an eternity in like the New York City comedy scene. And I just yeah, that's something I'm really proud of myself for, because it's not easy. Like, you got to deal with a lot. Like, the owner and the manager was very finicky. Every couple of months they're canceling or moving your show for like an urgent Madonna sing along, and I feel like I put up with a lot of shit to keep that show going. They'd be like, "Oh," because my show was crushing it. It was selling out every first Saturday of the month, and then they're like, "Oh, can we just move it to a Wednesday?" I was like, "Fuck no! This is Saturday night in New York City in fucking Greenwich Village. Like, we're not moving this to a fucking Wednesday." But it's that like, oh, taking you for granted. Like, oh, you can fill the room on Saturday. You could probably fill the room on a Wednesday. So I had to deal with a lot. But I liked everyone who worked there. I had a great time. Like, I had this one. I can't remember. This was like this guy who was doing drag from Pennsylvania. I think he reached out to me, and I like had him come in and like do drag on my comedy show. And it was like the highlight of his career. And it felt good to help people. And I felt like I was constantly, this is before like, the T's took over, but I felt like I was constantly looking for up and coming like LGBT talent. So I would mix that in with whoever was at the Cellar. And it was like a very strong show. And then it'd be like sometimes my friends too, but mostly like LGBT comedians. There weren't that many T's. There's like maybe one trans comedian that I would book, but they weren't like how the trans people are now. Like,
dude, when I was in college, there was no T. It was just LGB. It was, and it wasn't even LGB. Actually,
there were barely any B's. What's the point of B? Is just
GLB.
B is just, you're fun at parties. Big deal. You have a couple drinks. Things happen. It's called being fun. Why do we need a B?
So being fun and be like, oh, whoa, you accidentally had sex with some girl and some guy. Big deal, right?
Yeah, no need to change your license over it.
Mhm. Well,
So
nowadays it's like that. I mean, I feel like we have a couple of different levels of people that grew up because, like I didn't graduate high school until like 2004. So, like I'm in a different generation, I think, than the both of yous,
Yep.
actually.
graduated high school or college?
I graduated high school in 2004. I didn't actually go. Well, technically, I graduated like my 2-year high school in 2006, but I didn't go back to college till like 2000 and graduate until 2012. Like, I was working in tech and I didn't really need the college degree at the time, so I just kind of didn't
That's
do
cool
it.
that you realized that. Like you didn't need it. You just got a
Mhm.
job.
Well, I was working for Walmart in their like systems department. So like I was doing computer shit that was not anywhere, like I didn't have any idea what I was doing there. I got in because I beat some dude at a video game and the bet was is that he had to give me a job if I beat him. So that's how I
Ooh,
got
that
in.
sounds like a movie script,
That is a
Mhm.
movie script.
right?
That is a movie script, right? Like,
Mm.
and then it was keeping that job. I ended up writing myself out of that job, right? And then that's why I kind of like don't like to work in tech anymore. Like, I don't like to program at all because every time I program something, a lot of people lose their jobs and shit changes, right? And that's what happened every company that I've worked for. So now I try to stay in just regular tech, and I try to stay away from putting together up anything because like I feel like very many jobs that I've done over the many years, which is why I went into culinary in the first place, is because I just like wanted to have job security because I didn't want to like accidentally write something to make my life easier that ended up taking me out of the equation, which has happened to be many times.
Wow.
Yeah,
Did
and I
you
think
know
a lot of
Manny went to Cordon Bleu?
I'm a cordon bleu sheriff.
Yeah, Chrissy, did you know he went to Cordon Bleu?
I don't. That's
Do
a
you
type
know
of
what
chicken?
Cordon Bleu is?
It's chicken cordon bleu.
Okay, never mind.
No,
Is it
it's
a
like
cooking school?
it's a cooking school.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
It's
a
supposed to be
French-
one of the best ones.
Yeah,
Supposed to be.
exactly.
Supposed to be.
Oh.
But I don't know about
That's
all
like the
that.
most
I went
impressive
there.
thing about him, as far as I'm concerned.
That's the
What's
most
your favorite-
impressive thing
what's your
about me.
favorite thing to make? What are your
Yeah,
what's your
I was
favorite,
very impressed, dude.
What's your favorite meal and dessert to make?
My favorite dessert to make would probably be a tiramisu, right? Like that was one of my favorites that I learned how to make. And then my favorite actual food to eat is actually pretty poor. Like I'm actually really a big fan of like fried rice, right? Like
Dude, I just made that
it-
last night. I mean,
like it's that is insanely, I don't know why, but is my favorite thing to eat out of
Mhm.
everything out there. Although I've had like a lot of different cuisines from a lot of different places. It just, I feel like I'm a pretty basic bitch when it comes to eating food because I can't eat hot stuff. I could do the spices and things, but my palate is different than I think other people's. So I have to watch what I eat, right? Like just basically it. I have to watch what I eat. So I've like eaten a lot of different stuff and I've worked for a lot of different restaurants. But like one thing that I'll never forget, which was probably the best thing that I've ever eaten, was squid fries. You ever had something like that?
Mhm.
It was like
Squid
I was
Wow.
working at a restaurant with Brian Malarkey in Scottsdale. We had opened something called Seersucker, and it was like a thing that he was putting together. I was one of the chefs on his crew. And like we would go to different places and open this restaurant over and over and over again. It was one of the menu items, but I'll never forget like all these Food Network judges like came to eat one day at like our spot, and I had made these squid fries, and I took like squid steaks, cut them into like French fries, dusted
Wow,
them, set
that's
them off with some
cool.
mapoy. But I was like watching guys like Robert Englund like lick their fingers like like that and shit after eating these things, and I was like, that's what I knew that like I had finally figured out
Wow.
some decent menu items and talking to these people. And I mean, like for me, it was more like I was already working as a pastry chef at a French pastry place. So like when I think cake, I think French cake. I don't think like sponge cake. Like get that
Yeah.
shit out of my face.
Totally.
Yeah, it's what I think. Like give me a tart or something tasty. That's what
Okay, yeah, that's
would rather get.
way more interesting than like a bunch of fucking cake. I need more going on. And
Mhm.
anything coconut related, I would just go to town on.
So when
Tarts
you
are
think
fun.
macaroon, you think coconut.
No, I mean like I think the ones like the little cookies with the cream in them. But yeah, coconut macaroon is like it's one of my favorite things for
Mm.
sure. My mom used to make because she was not a good cook. Like she just would do things that were easy. Like I literally grew up on noodles and butter, and now like Frank's family is all Italian. I'm like, oh my God, this is what food is? Holy shit. Like it's not just like boiled broccoli and noodles and butter. This is wild. And Hamburger Helper. But she would make something called blender pie, and it was just coconut and I don't know, fucking eggs and shit. She'd put it in the blender and then throw it in the pan. It was pretty good. Yeah.
So you bring up Frank, and this reminds me of a question that came out a number of times, which is Frank real?
I think Frank's an AI.
Yeah.
Wow.
seen
Oh
him.
my God. I'm totally
People are
marrying an
saying
AI.
that Frank is not a real human being, or at least not a man. They think maybe it's
No.
Farron, but certainly they
Really?
don't believe
Based
that.
on what?
Oh, internet.
Okay.
Based on internet.
It was these were things that were coming up due to a individual who will not go named. I think that's good enough, probably.
Well,
Okay.
internet.
Oh,
But-
just like internet stuff from the drama that happened a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. Lots of
Oh,
drama.
okay. I should be like, yeah, he lives in Canada.
Canada, yes.
He's
Do they
really
have
real.
AIs in
Yeah.
Canada? Hold up.
No, but that whole like, you have a Canadian girlfriend thing. That's like,
Oh,
what you
yeah.
do if you didn't have a real girlfriend.
Oh, kind of like shoe on head. Yeah, that makes sense.
Oh, people think she doesn't exist?
She
Oh,
does
no.
exist. She
had
just
a
doesn't have a
Canadian
boyfriend.
Yeah.
Oh, did she tell people she did?
What? No, I mean he was actually Canadian. He was a real guy,
Mhm.
but he was Canadian, so I'm making fun of the fact that Canadian means fake.
Right.
So it's kind of a long way around to that joke. Okay, so
You tried.
I'm the
moving
retarded.
on.
You were perfect. I just
In the
didn't-
morning.
That's hilarious. Okay. So I guess we found out a lot more of this. So like I guess what I haven't heard is like what finally got you like what was the big shift that finally like got you into comedy? Like for most people there's just like usually there's like a time when you realize like this is what I'm going to be doing for the next, 30 years.
I know that I was getting to a point with improv where I was like, oh, how much longer am I going to every 6 weeks spend another $400 on an improv class? Like when you've done all the classes at 2 theaters and you've done teams 2 theaters, and you're like, okay, I don't seem to be getting scouted for anything. Like I've taken commercial acting classes. I don't seem to be getting cast for any commercials. This doesn't seem to be like working for me. Then I did the one woman show, which I got a really good sense of accomplishment from. It was the first time I had to memorize lines, and I had 2 different directors. The show ran for 6 weeks at the Magnet Theater. It was like, wow, this was like a real production. I feel like an actor. This is wild. And then after that, I had the nerve to start stand up because I'm like, well, I just did an hour on stage, like all these different characters. I think I could do stand up. So I started stand up March of 2010 and just like haven't stopped. I think it's from doing sports. I have this part of me that like it just doesn't like to quit until I feel like I've done everything I can. Like that's how I felt with improv. I feel like I did everything I could there. Same thing with like diving, I guess. Like there is no like there is an open division, but it fucking sucks. And it's like not really competitive, and you're not going to get coached in the way. And everyone's got to like get a job. So it's not like you're going to be an adult with diving.
We just got another super chat. This was from Super Guy Rob for $10. He just says, "Great interview. Have some fried rice on me. Much love." All right, sweet. I'm getting fried rice today.
Maybe I can start eating. I haven't eaten rice in like a year.
Eating rice is good for you. It's a healthy food.
After
All
my
them
wedding,
Chinese people are
right.
skinny. I'm trying to lose weight.
I'm gonna have carbs again after the wedding. Not till then.
When's the wedding?
Is rice carbs?
Yes.
sure.
No bread, no rice, no sugar, no fucking anything. Just protein, occasional fruit, vodka.
When's the wedding?
October.
October. Okay.
Fall
bride.
wedding.
Yep.
Where are you guys doing it?
I'm not telling you.
Well, the state. You can't tell the state?
So people can fucking try to
Oh
show
my
up
God.
there? No thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have to say anything about that. That's really cool that you guys are actually getting married and stuff, though.
Mhm.
I mean, I know that we were making fun of it, or we were having some jokes about it, like the other, couple weeks ago, about him being an AI bot. But no, we don't believe that he's an AI bot. He's definitely seems like a real individual.
I hope so.
as far as we can tell.
Well, I think it's pretty brave of you to marry an AI bot. So
Yeah, I'm gonna be the
kudos
first
to you.
one. I'm gonna have the first AI baby.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's cool. You're gonna
You're gonna
really
beat
like
Elon
open up
to it.
doors. Isn't his baby an AI? Didn't they like genetically modify that baby in some way?
I think the name is definitely an AI name because no human could remember a name that long. But no, I think that one was reasonably naturally conceived. As
You think?
natural as Grimes can be.
Oh, that one, the X bot baby,
Yeah.
the Elon baby.
Didn't they change the name though?
She changed the name of the girl right now, so I think that the bleep bloop kid is still called the same thing.
So stupid. It's clearly just for attention. Like no one believes you for a minute that you're gonna fucking have the kid called bleep bloop. You know what I mean? For the rest of their life.
Well, if you look at Frank Zappa and his kids' names, they kept them their entire lives.
True.
And
Helicopter
I think
pilot or something, or
God, what was that? So Dweezil was one of them. Moonshot was the other one. She wanted to change her name, but she ended up keeping it. And then I can't remember his third kid's name.
Moon Unit?
Moon Unit.
Or Moon Unit. Moon,
Zappa.
not Moonshot. Moon Unit. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Could call her Mooney for short.
I don't know if that's better.
I don't know. It's
Maureen Unit.
Maureen. So no funny kid names for your future?
No.
You gonna have kids?
Yeah, I mean, I'll see if that's God's plan. Sure. I mean, we're definitely gonna not stop it. So
You're gonna continue having sex after you're married?
Definitely gonna like let go of the whole like pulling out thing.
Mm-hmm.
And because we've never had a scare or anything. It's the girls are
Mhm.
like every woman listening to this should get off birth control. It is so bad for you. It literally it changes how you choose men. Like it literally tricks your
Totally.
body into thinking that you're always pregnant. And the guy that you would pick when your body thinks you're pregnant is different than the kind of guy you pick when you're in your natural cycle, the ups and downs of all your hormones and shit. It's just so fucking bad for you. And it's very easy to track your cycle. You can only really get pregnant like 4 days out of the month, but nobody tells you this. They just want you scared thinking you can get pregnant at any time to get you on the pills and shit. Or I feel bad for women that get the fucking IUD in there. It literally grabs onto your inside. It literally pierces your fucking cervix. It's really unbelievable. I don't know. I think all birth control is really bad for you. So
Yeah, especially condoms.
yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, condoms are the worst, man.
Oh,
if you're
God.
allergic to latex,
I mean, even if you're not, it's just horrible.
No, like condoms are fine until you get to know somebody, but I don't think women should be on hormonal birth control.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about the shot, the depot shot?
Nope, none of it. None of it. It's all bad.
Yeah, I'm with Chrissy on that. I think birth control screws with people's minds, and that's not a side effect that they talk about.
Never.
No, at all. I mean, heck, I had a twin sister, man. I remember back at the day when we were in high school, how weird she acted after she got all of her shots and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Now, though, she's pretty normal, though. But that's because she ain't worried about all that stuff anymore, I guess. Still weird to think about, like, how the future is. Like, you know, do you see yourself? So you see yourself having kids and bringing them into the world in the next 20 years? Like, where do you see the world going?
I'm not gonna like stop that. If it's meant to be, it'll be. And I'm just, you know, we're gonna go from being careful to not being careful, because it's like once you're married, why would you be careful? Which is like weirdly more Catholic than I would end up seeing that I would see myself, you know. But if you actually look in the steps that you have to take to get Catholic married, it's weird. It's actually, and I have to find like where it says this in the Bible, but the questions like the priest will ask you if you're thinking about getting married, that like there's basically something in Catholicism where it's like there is no such thing as rape. It's like when you go into a marriage, it's like you are basically going like, yeah, you have my total consent for any time it's basically thou shalt put out, which I think is so fascinating, and I want to like read more into that. And I'm
No,
like,
you don't have to be Catholic for that. I actually wrote those very similar words for my wife in when we got married.
like, I made her sign a contract.
Hell yeah.
Couldn't
Fuck
say
yeah.
no. That's funny.
Yep.
I just think it's
sex on demand.
It's interesting to see what's written in like the old, you know, what the people long before us felt about marriage and how things have been so twisted to where they are today. I don't know. How we've gotten to a point where people can be like, "Oh, my own husband raped me."
Yeah,
Like,
that's literally.
How do we get to a place where that's even happening?
It's ridiculous.
Like, what's fucking going on with people?
Marriage is not like the concept of marriage, and feel free to jump in and correct me if you don't agree, but I think the concept of marriage came out of a need for women to have support from the men that they had sex with once the kid is born. So if you don't have a kid, you don't really need much support, but if you have a kid, you're going to need help. And so marriages, and remember, there used to be dowries for marriage. Like, what does a guy get from being married? Very little. So
you get to potentially pass on, like create a legacy.
You never used to. No, pre-marriage, you
right.
could pass on your genes before need. We're talking back, thousands of years, not like last week.
Sure, you'd maybe get like your wife's farm, or like you marry to a good family.
You gotta get something out of it, and one of those things that you get is like, okay, well, if I'm gonna not have sex with any other women, then I'm gonna have sex with you whenever I want sex. Because otherwise, why would I get married?
Right.
It makes no sense. I mean, it's like, hey, get married, pay half your money to raising a family instead of just yourself out doing guy stuff, and then have somebody that you can only have sex with one person, but they get to say when they want to have sex or not. Who in their right mind would agree to that?
That also just doesn't seem very kind to do to the person that you supposedly love and want to spend your whole life with it. That's like saying, "Oh, I'm only gonna, like, if someone's really good at cooking, I'm only gonna make you 2 meals out of the day because I don't feel like making you 3. Like, I'm just gonna let you go hungry when you have a physical need." It's just like,
and that shit happens too. Like, you're using that as a random example, but that happens all the time in marriages where there's some video I saw just recently of a guy coming home and then complaining that his wife decided not to cook dinner, and then he just came back from a 12-hour workday, and she's sitting there watching TV and hadn't cooked.
Ready, or something.
Yeah.
Well, we did get a super chat. And that super chat's actually got a question for Chrissy. It looks like $4.99 from CV. She says, "Has she or her man been vaxxed?"
No and a no.
No.
We really bonded. Yeah, I feel like the pandemic really like solidified our relation because we were both red pilling each other the whole time.
Awesome. That's great. Pure bloods.
Pure bloods.
Pure blood. Pure blood. Wait, I'm pure blood too.
Pure bloods. Yeah.
Is it, are we doing the left hand?
Another group is taking PB, but I don't know.
Yeah, definitely keep your elbow bent though. Don't stick that sucker out.
No straight left arm? No
straight left arm.
No, can't
don't
do this.
Yeah. Hey, how's it going? You're just waving hi over there. Okay.
Hey, hello there.
Hey, what are you doing?
Trying to get a cab.
Oh, she put in another super chat too here for you that said $4.99. How does she feel and think about unvaxxed sperm?
I think about it all the time.
It's the best kind of sperm.
Best is the only kind.
Only kind you want to have a kid with. That's
there was a meme going around, which I'm sure was fake, but it looked pretty damn realistic. It'd be hilarious if it was, of a truck with like a F-150 with a bumper sticker on the back tailgate. It said unvaxxed sperm for sale, $499 an ounce.
Wow.
And I was like, that could become a real thing before too long.
Yeah, I think once we start, that's
so I might still become a millionaire.
Could happen.
Will industry ever be honest about the latest crop of vaccinated babies that are born? Would they ever truly be like, yeah, here? Maybe some might over time would be like, yeah, we're starting to notice like some real differences.
Thalidomide used to be considered safe and effective.
Yeah.
Is that Do you all know what thalidomide is? You guys might be
That
too
went over
young.
my hand.
Thalidomide is
Thalidomide.
the drug that was given to pregnant women to calm their nerves that ended up resulting in children with limbs that did not grow. So they're
Ooh.
like, you look up thalidomide on Google and you'll be grossed out. But
Is it a
basically,
porn
like
genre?
people that have, one normal arm and then one arm that's 2 inches long.
Okay.
And it was one of those things where the medical establishment considered it totally safe and effective. And the reality is that the medical drug business is a business. It's looking for profits. It is run like every other business. And they're going to do whatever they can to ensure that they have a successful quarter every quarter.
Yeah.
And that may be in direct opposition to the long-term health of people. So
Yeah. Whatever people's problems are, they just got to create more pills or medical products for that.
yeah,
They're not in
or
the
raise the
business.
prices. That's the
Yeah.
other way to do it. Is like with insulin, which has gone up by about 300% over the last 15 years. So you'd think it's an older drug. It's been available forever. It should be getting cheaper, not more expensive. But yet, they've managed to keep the price tripled.
Dang.
Mm-hmm.
It's the worst, man. It's the worst. The worst.
Yeah.
So I guess now that we've discussed kind of like your past, your present, what do you see going on in the future? So you're getting married, we know that, but like, where
Yep.
do you see your career going over this? Like,
I would like to keep doing everything I'm doing and just crank it up. So continue to build what I think is a network of like-minded free speech, like anti-woke comedy lovers and creators. If that ends up, and I've been in like a few talks with some people, but like if that results in some kind of a network or studio or something larger than what I'm already doing, I would love to eventually like move into like get myself into a situation where I have a bigger studio where I can have like more people in person coming in, like what with Tim Pool has, like just be able to afford to like pay for people to physically come in so I can interview them. That would be really cool. Do more content houses. Just like
How many times have you been on Tim Pool?
just once.
Just once. Okay.
Just once. I was supposed to go on again more recently, but apparently some people on his staff don't like me, so that's what prevents
Cassandra.
that. Perhaps. I don't really understand why. I think it's because I didn't agree. We had different feelings on the Eliza Blue situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been Cassandra.
It's too bad that has to be something that takes you off the list of guests, but I think it was even something that kept me from going on. Like he has other channels. Like I couldn't go on the pop culture channel. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, that is a fun one to watch. And I'm like an old fart watching that. I almost feel dirty because they're so damn young. Because they're young.
Okay.
They're like children. They're like in their early 20s or whatever. But it is interesting to hear the way that relatively young mind interprets the world.
It is interesting. That's why people love those whatever clips from that podcast.
Oh,
like the young girls, they look like I look at these
the
girls, I'm like,
ones. Yeah.
they look like little rabbits that just woke up from hibernation. Like they just look like, oh my god, like oh my god, you precious, like you poor thing.
Yeah.
I guess I get how parents feel, but at the same time, I'm like, oh man, you just want them to avoid making the same mistakes that you did.
It might be too late.
Or they make different mistakes.
Yeah.
Hello, dog. Oh.
Yeah, Lunchy was warning me that my fried rice just got here.
Oh, dude, you ordered some. Awesome.
I
didn't order any. She's a Chihuahua.
Chihuahua ordered some fried rice?
She ordered.
A mini Rottweiler. That's cute.
Yeah, she thinks she's a Rottweiler, but she's definitely just a Chihuahua.
She's super quiet. That's what I like about her.
Yeah, she's quiet. She smells the fried rice though, so she's like,
food.
She's like, yo, am I gonna get some of that shit? You'd be like, maybe a little rice, a little chicken. That's about it though.
What What does she like to eat?
She really likes to eat chicken and beef. Like, seems
like
steak
filet
is her
mignon.
favorite. Yeah, like filet mignon. I get her, she'll have whatever I'm having, usually.
Waffles. Hold on. I got waffles.
And then I've taught her pretty well to not be a barker.
Yeah, that's amazing to me because like every other dog of that variety that I've seen is just nonstop yip 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 yip.
Yeah, no, Lunchy does not yipe. Oh my god, look at that
Oh,
thing!
it's a Labradoodle.
It's a Labradoodle. Those are smart dogs.
They're smart and they're so soft. They have the
Mhm.
softest fur.
Mm,
Yeah.
My buddy
What's the dog's name?
Waffles.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh, she doesn't have her headset on. She can't hear.
yeah, no. She's like, oh, hold on. She probably sat on her headphones.
Yeah,
She did.
Yeah, totally sat on her headphones. Yeah, we're saying you can't hear the questions. What's the dog's name?
No.
I
Waffles.
think it's Waffles.
Waffles.
It's Waffles.
The Labradoodle.
Oh, she's a Cavapoo.
A Cavapoo.
Cavapoo.
So
Wait, what's the
cute.
Cav stand for?
Cavalier.
I don't know a
King Charles
Cavalier.
Cavalier.
I've never seen a Cavalier.
King Charles Cavalier. You haven't seen them? They're like
Mm.
very much like British royalty type dogs, aren't they?
Oh, I'm
That
gonna
they
look
like
it up right now.
flappy long ears that look like pigtails. She's got very like Cavalier, like little sad eyes. And she's a good
Thought it was a
girl.
muffin.
A muffin is the other dog.
Oh, you have more than one dog?
Yes, Muffin and Waffles.
Yeah. See, I only got my little
I see
Lunchy,
what they look
but
like.
I wish. What's it called? My neighbor, she's got two dogs, Bingo
Mhm.
and Beep Beep. One of them is
Mm.
Lunchy's son.
Yeah, she has the same coloring as Muffin, and people think they're related. But a Muffin
Hmm.
is a mini golden doodle. And she's a
Okay.
Cavapoo.
Yeah, the
It's in my
Cavalier. So
hair.
it's a Cavalier is a Spaniel.
Yeah. Uh-oh,
Yeah.
her paw's in my hair. Okay.
So those
She's
are
so
expensive
fluffy.
dogs you got.
Yeah, look at them. Look.
Fancy designer, genetically engineered things.
Just hypoallergenic because
Mhm.
Hypoallergenic.
You know,
they
I
don't
always
shed.
I wonder, like the Labradoodles and the other poodle varieties have gotten really popular lately.
Oh yeah, the golden
What do
doodles are
people have against just poodles? Like,
Poodles
Those things
think
are
they're better
mean.
than everybody else. Poodles are so smart. Poodles are probably the
Are they?
smartest dog.
Mean.
really, like full size poodles, not the miniature ones.
Yeah, full size poodles. Those things are smart and sometimes they're mean.
Really, I've
Got a
never
nice and
known
about-
anyone's got one.
I've only met like two people that had them and they were mean.
So you think like a Labradoodle is better than the poodle?
I've met people with
Temperament-wise?
Labradoodles, and the temperament on a Labradoodle is much better
Mhm.
than the temperament on a poodle. But that dog is very, very like it's kind of like a golden retriever,
Mhm. And
But-
the Labradoodle, the people I know with Labradoodles,
smarter,
they're super high energy and they're
Mhm.
smart.
high energy, and smart. So you gotta,
Yeah,
you gotta
you gotta walk
constantly-
around with them all the time. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's why I
the-
like Lunchy. She just lays on my bed under the covers like a fucking lazy ass. Yeah, Lunchy. Her full name is Lunchbox Chavez.
Lunchbox? That's cute.
Yeah,
Lunchbox.
Lunchbox, but I call her Lunchy for short.
That's almost like an Asian dog name.
What, Lunchbox?
At
Hmm.
first, Waffle's name was Brandy.
She didn't like Brandy though?
Other people
What did
didn't
you-
like Brandy. Didn't like
Who
the
doesn't
name.
like Brandy?
I liked it. Maybe they
I
didn't
like
want her to think
Brandy.
like she had a
Yeah.
problem. Yeah, I thought Brandy was cute. Do you
On the
miss your other
main
name?
stage, it's Brandy.
Waffles is so cute. She is such a Waffles. She's very waffly,
Mhm.
right?
That's the only
She-
thing Lunchy
she
doesn't really do.
She loves to watch TV.
Really?
She's just waiting for an animal to come on. And then she just barks at it and then she looks behind the TV like she's looking for the animal.
Do you put on YouTube streams of animals
Sometimes.
for her?
She gets
Yeah.
excited. She wags her tail.
Hmm.
I don't think she thinks she's like defending the house. I think she really like knows she's watching TV.
Hmm.
Right, Waffles?
I love watching animal videos. It's my
Me too.
dirty little secret.
Mm. I watch them sometimes as well, but like I put stuff on for Lunchy and she doesn't really care for chickens or dogs. What she's really into though seems to be Star Trek. Like anytime
Really?
some kind of like alien looking motherfucker comes on, that's what she's paying attention to the TV.
Really? That's interesting.
But she doesn't
Wow.
bark or anything. She'd just be watching.
Hmm.
And then, like if I'm watching war movies and stuff, she could care less. But then, if I watch something with like an alien or something in it,
She
she's
likes
like,
the aliens, huh?
We wanted to call Waffles Ursa at first because she does kind of look like a teddy bear.
Mm-hmm.
And Ursa.
She didn't want to be accused of being Russian.
Ursa's either Latin or Italian or something for bear.
Yeah. Yep.
Ursa Major.
Big Bear. That's a place in California.
Also the name of a Pokemon.
Also the name of a constellation.
Yeah.
The Great Bear.
Really? I didn't know that.
There's a Ursa Pokemon?
I think so, yeah. Ursa Ring. Ursa Pokemon.
It's all before my time.
Pokemon.
I mean, I played the first Pokemon, but I mean, after a while, I think I came back when I got a Nintendo Switch.
Ursa
Never
Ring.
played that shit. Wait, you play Pokemon Go, don't you?
Still do. Yeah.
You still do?
Every day, every day. Yeah, I'm level 36. You don't get to level 36 by quitting.
Yeah, well, I think throughout this entire stream, we found that you're definitely not a quitter.
No.
Aw.
But you are a bit of a nerd.
What?
Bit of a nerd.
Look, friends sent me gifts. And guess what? I have like over 150 friends now. Because I was like, hey, who else plays? And then a lot of people were like, I do.
It's a good way for people to make friends. Wow, look at that.
I bought myself a sweater.
Is your name Cheeseburger? Oh, no, it says Chrissie Mayr.
No, it's cheeseburger.
Cheeseburger.
It's like, does that say cheeseburger? What the fuck?
That's funny.
I don't know why. I looked at your name and I saw cheeseburger for some reason.
You showing off your butt?
Well, yeah, I have a matching pink backpack, even though I'm on the red team.
Uh-huh.
But when it gets warmer, I'll have her take the tights off and she'll just be in a skirt and boots or shoes. I have other shoes, but I don't want her to get cold.
I didn't even know that you could make your trainer have a different look. That's
Are
how
you
long
kidding me?
it's
That's what I spend most of my time doing. You can have different poses. You can have hats. They had masks for a time. They still do. Glasses, necklaces, tops, bags, gloves, belts, bottoms. Like I could make her wear pants. Some of the pants are free. Some of them you have to pay for.
Yeah, I don't even think I can play that game anymore. I think I got banned.
Like, look, I could do holiday pajama bottoms, but she don't do flannel.
Huh. Why not?
Dude, what is this is like WhatsApp.
Yeah, this is nuts.
Different footwear. You could do socks and sneakers if you wanted. There's a lot. Purple shoes.
So how long would you say you spend a day playing Pokemon Go?
As long as it takes. No,
Oh.
I don't know.
No hesitation.
Some days I'm really into it and I do all the tasks and but again, I'm only on level 36. Like I could be.
Yeah.
I'm going to take a survey. Skip. We played a lot during the pandemic. That's how I got into it. That every day we would like do Pokemon Go and walk to Dunkin' Donuts, walk back it was like our routine. We had like the best time. And if I go to a new city or town, like I like to do a few spins because you get gifts and you can do like postcards, like you can save. And I like to give people and a lot of my friends like live all over the world. So I'll have like a friend in Taiwan who sends me like a gift from Taiwan. And it's just like a postcard, post stamp.
Your account's terminated?
Why? What happened?
I don't know.
Did you get canceled from Pokemon Go?
Must have been.
I got canceled, bro.
It's wild.
It's so weird to me.
I got canceled on Pokemon Go. I did play it a lot actually when it first came out, and then
like look, a Drifloon just appeared.
Okay.
Let's see if I can throw a ball at it without looking.
Whoa.
Oh wow.
What? You got it.
Wow. I think I am that good. Wow.
Wow, you are that good.
Blind shot. Yeah.
You did it backwards, blind. That was a trick shot. That was a Pokemon Go trick shot right there.
Well, it's easy to throw a curveball. It's only 2-star. I'm gonna get rid of it.
So, have you? Or no, let me ask this. What would be a city you have not performed in that you would like to go to? And
Nashville, for sure. I've been in Nashville for like a health freedom convention a couple years ago. I would love to perform. Yeah, because I feel like I'd have a lot of fans there too. Would love to perform in Arizona, like maybe Phoenix or the other one, Scottsdale,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like very like a spiritual center.
Sedona?
I would like to do a date in like
yeah, you
Ocean.
should play in Sedona. That'd be
the
hilarious.
OC.
Scottsdale?
Yes,
Arizona,
Sedona.
you said?
Yeah.
And Sedona?
Wait.
Mm.
I'm
No,
confused.
I'm saying Sedona. She said Scottsdale and Phoenix.
Maybe those are the same.
They're right next to
They're
each other.
basically the
I
same.
want to do Ocean City or the OC, Orange County in
Mhm.
California. I would like to do. I don't need to do Boston. I've performed like in Boston and other places. Where would be fun? Montana might be fun, just because I've heard that that's like a lot of people are
Bozeman.
moving there.
There you go.
Yeah,
Oh, you're going to move there?
No, a lot of people. I've heard like a lot of
Oh,
people
yeah.
are moving there.
Yeah.
Already live there.
Mm-hmm.
Where else?
How
Where
about
else is, like,
internationally?
I feel like once they started with the mandates and all like the vax crap, I lost like a big desire to travel abroad. Like, sure, I'd probably do pretty well like in the UK because a lot of the countries are like, close together, and I think I do have fans out there, but like, like I don't know. I don't want to deal with any kind of like vax bullshit. And I know that they probably did drop that, but
I think
it
most
just
places
required
have,
so much planning.
except for the U.S. We're still requiring
that.
it for people coming here.
It's BS.
It is BS. That's cool. So you don't
Like I would
have
only go if I had many shows set up and I could have a really efficient schedule. I wouldn't just go for like one thing and come back.
You've
That's
been to
kind of how
Australia?
that's even how I treat like domestic travel. Like I need to be really efficient with any kind of travel, like do multiple things in every city.
Have you been to Australia?
No, that's where I wanted to study abroad in college though. But I didn't want to miss it's not the NCAA.
Get Frank to set up some gigs out there. Do like a major Australian city tour.
Australia?
Yeah.
Queensland, Brisbane,
I don't know. I have no desire
strip
to go to
on the
Australia.
bobby.
I have no desire. I'm
Really?
just like, why? Isn't Australia going to shit? Like, isn't it? Are they basically making it like a New World Order testing ground?
Yeah. But
they still need a lab
nature's
too.
really nice. Yeah. No, I mean, you don't have to go there to work. You could also just go there for vacation.
I don't
too,
go
but-
anywhere just for vacation anymore. Like, I literally don't. It doesn't happen unless I can do a show
Mhm.
or meet someone or do a podcast or like have something that's going to benefit my career. Like, I can't remember last time we went to Mexico like February of 2020. That was the last like strictly only vacation I've taken.
When are you coming to
Mexico.
Austin?
It was Cancun.
Cancun, nice.
Yeah.
When are you coming to Austin? You got any gigs?
Ooh, I'll be in Dallas the beginning of May.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'll be able to.
You should come out and do Rogan's comedy
again.
club.
Yeah, I would like to do the mothership. Yeah. Maybe the fall. I could try to set something up. But yeah, Dallas, May 5th and 6th at Hyenas.
Yeah, I see that you're going to be in Vegas on the 27th, so I'm going to try to make it down there for that.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
It's like
That's
7
fun.
hours for me, but I like going. I like having excuses to go to Vegas.
Vegas is fun.
Yeah, I mean, I don't gamble or anything. I just like hang out.
You
But
not like to fly?
I don't like to fly. But seriously, most of the time, it's cheaper for me to drive than it is for me to fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that
then
little hybrid thing.
Yeah, and I got my hybrid car, so I like driving. Like I flew to New York and stuff like that. If it's like outrageously far, I will. But for the most part, I do enjoy the driving.
Mm-hmm.
And then I usually stay at a hotel that lets me bring lunchy.
Gene, I'm thinking a lot about what you said about Twitter, and I think I'm learning something about myself. Like I don't just post, "Hey, here's a photo of me at my friend," like with my friend at lunch. And I think about why I feel that way. I think it's because I don't think that's good enough. Like that's not enough just to post of you existing. I don't think that's. I mean, I think it's probably something in my psyche that's like you have to be doing more. Like just existing is not good enough. You have to be accomplishing something or doing something or working on something, which is probably not the healthiest. But
No, I think that maybe you should take another look at that because over the years, I've thought like that same way. And when I switched or when I started posting things, just like random stuff on Twitter, I started to notice that, the stuff that I was really putting all the time into wasn't the stuff that was getting me all the play. It was always the random pictures and just the like lifestyle stuff that people were really enjoying. And even now, like I've been feeling on YouTube, there's been another algorithm crunch of some kind, because not even like the shorts are doing well anymore. It seems like something has changed or shifted again, and you really gotta like you gotta take it into stride, because there's obviously some funny business going on. Like I know that they did this big push
going on YouTube. I don't know what's happening.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I'm saying like I got a fucking strike over the dumbest shit. I played an AI of Joe Biden. He was going off about the tea people. Like, I don't know, you probably heard the clip. It's like a viral clip of him being like, oh, you gotta fucking, the sweet release, all that. And the AI or whatever fucking picked it up. It doesn't even matter if I didn't say it, nobody said it. It's literally words that none of us would use. You're literally commenting on it. We're even like laughing and going, oh my God, no. Like, we weren't yes-anding it. Doesn't matter. It's an AI. And so we got a hate speech. I got a hate speech strike. And I couldn't stream for like well over a week. I think it might have been
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that sucks. I mean, honestly, we just went through the same thing ourselves. I actually just got a copyright strike from one of those storm chasers for watching his video and commenting on it. And like there wasn't anything that indicated that it was licensed or anything. So I asked him to remove it. He obviously is ignoring me. So I'm just going to, counter notify it and get it removed. And then I'm just going to remove the video off YouTube, cut that out, like put it back up. But like, it's just really weird lately is that like, I've been getting strange hits. Like I just came off my strikes myself. And
wow,
like I knew that you were getting struck down. Cause like, I usually go to your channel, like watch your stuff. And I was like, dude, it's been like a couple of days since they posted.
Yeah.
Now when that happens, sorry to interrupt you. When that happens, do you still keep doing stuff on Rumble, or you just take a break?
I was doing some stuff on Rumble. I was honestly a bit demoralized, so there were some days I didn't do anything. But I should have been going just as hard on like Rumble, Rockfin, Twitter, all the other places that I stream. I just was kind of like, fuck, this is such bullshit.
Oh yeah, there's somebody in the chat just said another super chat for $4.99. It just says, missed the controversy about Chrissie and flags. Why do we have flag trolls? And you know what, Sleepy, I don't really know why people. Yeah, there's some trolls in here that I think the flag trolls are starting to show up and say things. Yeah, like that flag.
I'm pro flag. Yeah.
Well, I don't want to take too much of your time today here, Miss Chrissie. I appreciate you coming onto the show and, like giving us some time here so that we can ask you some really interesting questions.
This was so fun. We didn't talk about Eliza at all. I thought it was going to be, this did not go the way I thought, but it was a lovely combo.
This was better.
Yeah, no. We really didn't. I didn't really want to talk about like Eliza. I wanted to, like figure out at least a little bit more about you, like open up the friendship and just, kind of give people an understanding. Cause I know sometimes some of us are always on it. Like I see you're constantly on your show. You're always doing stuff, if it's not, like I get it. You're on the grind, and I just wanted to, bring you on the show, bring you into the Griftcast a little bit so that we could talk to you and, just open up conversation lines. And I think that we really did find out a lot of really interesting stuff today.
It was fun. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, a lot of fun. And we appreciate you coming on.
Aw, this was fun. Good times. Thanks for having me.
Yep.
Definitely. Well, you want to do any of your grifting right now? You got anything to grift before you go?
Yeah, got a bunch of stand-up dates coming up. Staten Island, Jersey, Vegas, Dallas, Richmond, Virginia, Houston. Go to ChrissieMayr.com for tickets. Watch the Simpcast on Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern on my YouTube channel and Rumble and Rockfin and all that. And watch me on Compound Media Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern on compoundmedia.com. It's a show called The Wet Spot. I have porn stars on, comedians on. That's sometimes there's, nudity and it's spicy and all kinds of shit can happen there. And yeah, I try to put out new interviews a few times a week. I try to do a morning show as often as I can. I could be way more disciplined about that though. So I got to recommit. And yeah, follow me on all the things. Chrissie Mayr Pod on Instagram. And I think that's it.
Perfect. Well, we appreciate you coming on the show, and we were definitely glad to have you here. You got anything to leave off with there, Mr. Sergine?
No, I think this was great. It was great to learn a lot more info about you that you don't normally talk about.
Yeah, it was good to like be like, oh wow, I've never said that on any show before, which doesn't happen too often.
Well, it's wonderful.
Well, now I don't want to go.
It's all right. Well,
you
don't
can
have
come
to
back,
if you don't.
You can come back.
Bye.
You can come back if you'd like.
Okay.
Have a great one.
Toodle.
Bye.
That was fun.
That was great. That was good. I think that was really good, honestly. Like
Yeah.
I got that set up with Frank a couple of days ago.
Nice.
Or right when they were struck, and I figured we would talk about it. I know some folks were probably like, "Hey, you guys really didn't talk a lot about the Eliza stuff. You didn't talk about the divinity stuff," and that was for me because like I didn't really want to talk about that because I feel like there's really, what are we gonna say?
I'm just bored with all that shit. It's like I've moved on. I'm focusing actually on more work related stuff lately, so. Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure people still want to hear about Eliza or Divinity or anybody, but I just don't care anymore. I've said my piece.
We did those streams to do our streams. I grifted off of the Eliza thing. It was my first like foray into grifting hard, and obviously not talking about it this month has created some, I don't know, blowback of some kind or something like that. I don't really get it, but we're just going to keep moving forward and creating content. I got to work a lot more this month just to make sure that we got everything meeting. All the ends are meeting everything.
Yep.
But I guess, it's good. I mean, what do you got going on this weekend?
I don't think there's anything going on this weekend. I've just, like I said, I've been kind of, if people haven't seen me on here a whole lot, it's because I've actually been doing what I should have been doing last month more, which is working. That's the problem with being sort of self-employed, is that it's really easy to just kind of get off of the schedule and just say, I'm just going to fuck around today. I'm just going to do some fun stuff. I'll just do a bunch of YouTube or be on Twitter all day long or whatever. And then, a month goes by, a couple of months go by, and you're like, oh shit, I haven't had any money coming in a few days, a few weeks, few months. Yeah. So it's, I'm trying to get back on track and get that healthy balance going, between having fun, doing things that make no money, and doing things that make the money that allow you to do the things that don't make money.
Exactly. That's where I always find myself like stuck. It's like sometimes I'm in a good spot, but over the last couple of months, just in my area, there hasn't been that much work. Like if I was down in the Las Vegas right now, I could probably be cleaning up. If I was down in like Phoenix or in California, it's just like in my area, it's like sucks. So I'm having to go do like DoorDashing and shit like that. So I'm just kind of like, you got to make ends meet, dude. You got to make shit happen, and I get it.
Yep, absolutely. So
good.
Otherwise, it's all good. Whatever. You and I played Star Citizen. That was the one and only time so far after this patch that I've played. So I haven't done a whole lot of that. Did you play anymore?
Oh yeah, I've been playing pretty much like every day. It's been great for me, honestly. Good. Like the patch is actually pretty fantastic after
is it
whatever they fixed. Well, yeah, like my stability issues were because like one of my files, like one of the dills was fucked up. Okay. So like I had to I just deleted all of the dills in the installer folder.
Okay.
Verified it, and then after that, it's been
good.
Able to play like 5-6 hours time stretches without any issues.
That's plenty.
Although normal bugs aside,
sure, but the normal bugs are annoying. But the ones that I just make me stop playing the game is just game crashed right in the middle of you doing something that you can't recover from. Whether it was you were mining somewhere in the asteroid belt, and good luck coming back to the same rock, and just stuff that happens. There are good times for it. Well, there's no good time to crash, I guess, but there definitely are worse times to crash for the game than others. And if it happens once every 5 hours, it's not great, but it's doable. When it happens once an hour, like 3 hours of that, 3 crashes, I'm done. That's it. I'm going to take a break from the game for a little while. I need to let them put another patch out that gets it to crash less. And like no other games crash as much. That's the thing. It's like, well, maybe it's not the game. Well, no, it is the game because I can play literally any of 100+ games that I've got on Steam. I can leave it running overnight, come back, it's still running in the morning. Nothing crashes.
Yeah, I think
Citizen?
if you're, I think like what a lot of people are experiencing right now with these 3900 crashes isn't the servers. I think it's the dills. I think the server that's been dishing out the dills or whatever has had like something fucked up on it. And that's what's causing this issue that we're seeing. Because every time, even last night, like I stopped streaming last night because I got the 3900 error. And, you know, I logged out, restarted my computer. And then I was like, I deleted the user folder, tried to log in. And nothing worked until I went in, deleted the dills, verified the folder, and then I got right the fuck in. So I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
I think
so.
I think that there's a hacker or a group of hackers that we've already spoken about previously that have now implemented their new hacking system, and I think their new hacking system allows them to do some things that with the API that is affecting the services.
Could be.
Or affecting the dills that other people are using. Like they're literally using this thing on you and you don't even know it.
Yeah,
and
could be.
It's nuking your shit. But, you know, I have to do more research.
Yeah. Well, it's still, in the end, the finger still points right back at developers. Because if you don't control the security in your APIs, it's your fault.
It's always your fault.
Yeah. So it comes down to that. The only other thing is I finally got my Mac set up, which I've been talking about for months and months of just sitting in a box. So finally got that plugged in and set up, and even bought software, which works amazingly well, although I had to pay for it, that lets you use the same mouse and keyboard on the Mac and the PC.
Synergy?
No, the one I'm using, that's the other one. The one I'm using is called Share Mouse.
I've used that one too.
Yeah.
They both work. ShareMouth is better, a little bit better though, when you're trying to do multiple key commands. Like,
it seems like that the issue I was having is I've got a bunch of monitors on both the Mac and the PC, and so they were having some issues there. And Share Mouse was the one that worked flawlessly with all the monitors together. And I love the fact that all I have to do to drag the mouse from the Mac to a PC is just double tap basically the edge of the screen. So you just kind of bring the mouse there and back, and then that flips it over.
I just had that shit set up on a hotkey.
On the what? Oh, a hotkey. Yeah. You could do that.
Yeah, too. Like when I worked for Apple, I wasn't supposed to have a computer, but I had my Mac right here. So I used all the same peripherals from my main computer on the Mac. So like I had all the monitors set up. So like when I was working, like, but they would always be like, how many fucking screens do you have? And I'd be like, 3. They'd be like, I'm like, yeah, technically 2 screens and a TV, but whatever. And it would be funny sometimes because like I would only have 2 screens and I would just have my, you know, video game up, like Star Citizen up, and I'd be playing Star Citizen, you know, like trading, like doing my Apple. Be like, oh, hi. So what's wrong with your iPhone? And they're like, you know, I'd be like clicking. They're like, damn, you're typing a lot. I'm like, trying to get a lot of good notes in for you, sir.
Exactly. Yeah, dude, back in the day when I used to play EVE Online, there was a lot of conference calls that I was sitting on where there was EVE Online running in the background. Or I should say on the main screen where the conference was on the side screen. Yeah, for sure. So, it's all good. It's getting warm here. It's like 80 degrees here in Austin pretty regularly now. So I'm trying to...
It was snowing last night.
That's crazy. That is nuts, man.
A little bit. It was like a little tiny bit of snow. It didn't like stay, but it snowed.
It's definitely getting into full blown on spring here. It'll be summer before you know it.
Yeah. Well, it's spring now, so I'm like definitely ready. I feel a lot better. Like my sciatica shit seems to be worked out. Sure, you got me like a massage or whatever. That seems to have fixed whatever else it was. I still got to go see a chiropractor. I think one of my legs is getting longer than the other one.
Really? Well, and then, like I was telling you, the thing that, because I've had bouts of that as well, and what I got that definitely helps me is an inversion table. So you hang like a bat. So you're upside down, hanging by your ankles. And literally, like, maybe 3-4 minutes on that. Get back out and just no pain, no nothing. Just feel totally re-energized.
Yeah, if I see one of those inverted tables, I'm buying them.
People will sell them on garage sales a lot because it's one of those things that's big, and then like I try not to hang clothes on it, but I hang clothes on it on between when I use it because it's so it just takes up a lot of space in the room, so you end up having to do it. So a lot anyway. Long story short, I've seen a lot of them for sale for like eBay or garage sales and stuff. It's usually pretty easy to get one.
Yeah, well, here, I mean, in spring, we're going to start having probably a lot more estate sales and stuff.
Yeah.
This is usually when people out here start dying, so I'm just hoping that I'm going to go struggle up some money real quick just to make sure that we're good for the next couple of months. And, like, I'm going to try to do at least one show a day. I got to do more shorts, though. Although the shorts thing was doing great, and then I stopped posting shorts to go to the funeral and shit.
Yep.
And it seems like something's changed on the algorithm, and I don't know if it has something to do with the copyright strike we just got, which didn't even stop us from posting at all, by the way.
Nice.
Which I thought was weird. That's something that I've never seen
that was
before.
Unexpected, but I guess maybe they have different levels now. I don't know.
Like, I got to go look at it again, but I mean, after that, like, it seems like, like everything is just like we're not in the algorithm whatsoever anymore. So I got to try to figure out how we're going to get ourselves back up to that place. But, like, even with, it doesn't matter.
Is a lot of fucking work, dude. Even though
I know I was
doing
it.
Damn.
Yeah. Twice a day is a lot of fucking work. Once a day is even a lot of work still, but we got to get ourselves rolled back into the all grow before we go anywhere else.
Yep. That's definitely the case. So a message from CV about the watch. Says going to put it to good use. Use it as a reward for grifters. All right. Well, it's your watch. You do whatever you want with it. But I'm happy that you finally got it, even if you're not the one using it. Oh, I sent you a mail message. Can you take a picture of the watch next to a box of the solar poncho? Because I just want to kind of have a little photo I can post that shows that there was a winner and I didn't just lie about the contest. So if you could do that, CV, that'd be great. And then just email it back to me. Cool.
Perfect.
I got to run, but that was fun to ask Chrissie a bunch of questions. Good to talk to you again. So I'll be back. Just not sure when.
Have a good one, man. Peace. All right. Well, I'm out too, folks. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the interview. Thanks for coming along and hitting that. Make sure you hit that like button, share this with your friends and stuff. But other than that, appreciate everybody that came through, donated some money, and, hung out. And hopefully you guys know a little bit more about Chrissie Mayr, at least outside of the normal everyday questions everybody be asking. But either way, much love to you. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your evening. Adios. Bye-bye now. Wait, this button.